My name is Trey Mangum, and this is Shadow and Act's Opening Act. Each week, we sit down with some of your favorite Black creatives in Hollywood to discuss how they made it in the entertainment industry. And this week, we're talking with the incomparable Kyla Pratt, who you know from One and The Proud Family. She currently stars in Fox's Call Me Kat, and the Proud Family revival series, The Proud Family Loud and Prouder, is premiering on Disney Plus very soon. Before One, Kyla cameoed on a lot of iconic Black sitcoms, from Living Single, to The Parenthood, to In the House, to Sister Sister, and many more. She spoke to us about being on those sets and the memories she has from those shows.
It's crazy because when I see a sitcom now that I didn't get a chance to be on, I was like, dang, I saw all of them. But all I have are great memories. I had a wonderful mom who took me on every possible audition that I could go on, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. And it's funny because I'm working at the Warner Brothers lot now, but when I was younger, like the security guards knew me by name because I was always there working. And so now it's just like a full circle thing because now I pull up every day. And I remember as a kid going there and, being on different shows. I didn't realize what I was doing. I just thought it was fun and I got to play different little sassy kids. And so all I have are great childhood memories of things like that. So it's nice to be able to see them randomly now because everything's streaming now. Mm-hmm. And, it was great.
What's the earliest job that you can remember having, whether that was a TV credit or a film credit, commercial even? What's the earliest you remember that you started acting? And what do you think you've taken from that moment and applied to you today?
The earliest memory I have would have to be my first television show that I guest starred on, which was The Parenthood. Mm-hmm. And I just remember having these braids in my hair because I'm tender-headed, so that's a memory that it has stuck there. But I had these fresh braids in my hair, and I had to chase. I had kids around a table, and it was my first time experiencing a live taping. And as I was chasing little boys around the table, I tripped and I fell flat on my face in front of the audience. And I cried because I was embarrassed. I realized that it was more embarrassment than hurt because my mom offered me some licorice and then I was fine. I think what I could take away from that is, sometimes it's going to be a moment where you're a little embarrassed on set, but just have some candy. I don't know. I don't know. Like that will pass very shortly. And, but it's still like I was my youngest daughter's age when I did that. So just to put that into like a weird perspective of, wait a second, that was a long time ago. And running into Robert Townsend as an adult woman and his face when he sees me is hilarious. But yeah, the earliest memory.
Yeah. And you've done so many sitcoms, just outside of your main one. What's the experience like of filming in front of a live studio audience? Because I would imagine that is kind of like a whirlwind.
That is an amazing feeling. That, like, growing up, and I didn't realize it, I think, until I got to One, how fun that was. And to have tape nights, that, first of all, the sitcom schedule is everything because the other shows that are the episodics, like you're on set for 16 to 18 hour days and, it's crazy setups. It's like a long shoot. But with the sitcoms, you're shooting one episode a week and, that, you're going to have this day where an audience is going to come in and you get to perform, and I guess that's the little, we get a little taste of theater life, I guess, that high of being on stage. And it's really exciting. There's no other energy like it. And it's been hard because we were supposed to have a live audience for Call Me Kat, which I'm shooting now. But because of COVID and everything that's going on, safety first. But I'm hoping one day, we continue and one day we'll be able to actually bring an audience in because the energy is just different, And luckily I remember that type of energy. So I'm able to like challenge it. But before you run out in front of an audience, you get those butterflies and you get scared. And people are like, you're still scared? And I'm like, yeah, that's the fun part about what I do. Like, once you get used to it and once it's nothing, or it's like, oh, I'll just walk out here, then it becomes boring. You know, who wants to do that? Who wants to do something that bores them? So, you know, I love having that feeling of just, you know, nerves and excitement and not wanting to mess up in front of everybody. Luckily, we are able to do more takes theater, so it's a little less pressure, but no, a live audience is an amazing feeling.
And what has the experience been like with people rediscovering One on Netflix? You know, I was so glad because I feel like I had not seen that show in syndication as much. Like, I feel like it would pop up on something like TV One and Aspire from time to time, but it wasn't like, you know, a marathon of the Parkers on BET. So I feel like this is probably the most access that people have had to One probably since it first came on. So what's the experience been like with people revisiting this show after so long and you seeing this monumental role that you were in after so many years, and it's literally being streamed by millions of people?
It's been amazing. I honestly, I grew up on that show. So I love like rewatching stuff. It reminds me of certain things in my childhood. And so to be able to like click it on right now is a weird feeling. And back when we were shooting, I would ask for, oh, this is going to date the show. I would ask for VHSs of the show just so I can have the episodes. And so now I have all the VHSs, and then towards the end, it started becoming DVDs. But I have all of those like in storage, but I just have a VHS just lying around. So being able to watch it now and see it now, and now to have people contacting me via social media telling me that their 8-year-olds are in love with the Proud Family and One. And it's weird because people always are going to think that I'm that age because they watched it, you know, at that time. So now that people are seeing it fresh, I'm like, wait, no, I'm not 14. Okay. Did y'all look when it was shot? No? Okay. It's a great feeling. You know, that's my teenage years, being able to watch that back. And I had so much fun shooting it with everybody. So
has it been hard to have you felt like as an actress you needed to disassociate yourself? Well, that's kind of a strong word. You know, just distinguish yourself between that character and you in real life. Because when you are on a show for so long and it's kind of like your most recognizable role, the lines kind of blur and people think, oh, well, she's still a teenager right now. How does that work as an actor trying to, you know, break out of that box when you've been kind of put in this certain type of role, type of show?
It's been a challenge, I think, more internally, where you sit back and you're like, okay, only people are going to see me as this character. They're only going to see me. And even now people hit me and they're like, you'll always be Penny Proud. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. That's fine. My voice isn't changing. It's not going anywhere. And I think we ran for so long. We did 113 episodes of One. And when we were canceled, you know, everybody was like, are you okay? Are you like, don't, you know, and I was like, no, I'm fine, because that's what that's the amount of time that this character needed. And I didn't want to be, you know, doing a character for 10 plus years and feeling, you know, stuck in that. But it is hard because people still see you as one thing. And my thing is I don't like to be put in boxes. And I think over the years, I've been able to exercise my acting in so many different ways by doing, TV movies and different things, just to show that there's different sides of Kyla. And so, I mean, the fact that they really loved that character and they see me as that character, I think that means that someone, you know, did a great job portraying that character. But the next challenge is to do something completely opposite so people can see something else.
I would just like to take a moment to recognize the iconicness that is the One theme song. You know, first of all, I'm a sucker for a good opening sequence, opening credits, and I usually never skip them in general. But for this one, because I've been revisiting the show since it's been on Netflix, and every time, not only do I watch the opening credits to hear the song, I might go back and like, let me run that back one more time and hear it again. Like, isn't that such an iconic I think it's an iconic and underrated black sitcom. I mean, all black sitcoms have, bops on their theme songs, but this one is so iconic and underrated to me.
Yeah, I love it. The best thing about theme songs is like just remembering as a kid being able to hop up and you just want to dance. Like it makes you have your cold open, which is the beginning of the show, the first scene that comes on, and then it goes into that you hear that beat drop and you just want to get up and dance with your family. Like that's what I think about when like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air comes on. I have flashbacks when I was a kid and we hop up and have that, fun moment with our family. And yeah, so I feel the same way with One on One. I think Shawnee's voice is ridiculous in every way possible. So I was so happy that, back then I'm 15. I'm not thinking like, oh, his wife should sing the theme song. Oh, that's going to be. No, like I'm not thinking about that. But I love that was done. And now that's something that if it comes on, you know exactly what you're watching. And music has a way of moving you and reminding you of certain times in your life. So I think that's the best part about an amazing theme song for a show.
When One on One was canceled and, eventually UPN was no longer a thing, did you think that we would have this absence of black stories in this period of time when UPN was gone that really hasn't come back until, I guess, the last few years? We kind of seen more and more black-led sitcoms, but for a long time we had One on One, Girlfriends, The Parkers, all of these shows specifically mostly on this network, and then all of a sudden it's like they were gone. And other UPN talent like Essence Atkins and Rachel True have talked about how they felt like kind of the black stories have been pushed out at that point. And I want to get your perspective on feeling like, I know One on One was kind of, I think One on One may have been canceled kind of like around the same time, but maybe not exactly at the same time, but just seeing how it kind of changed from seeing all this blackness in sitcoms to pretty much being virtually nothing until a few years ago.
That's exactly what I felt when we were canceled. We were actually canceled the year that UPN was stopped. Mm-hmm. And because when everything was going on and they did the switch up, they did our reboot for our season 5. That was a complete shock to all of us. I went to work like, wait, what? What's happening? Okay. But I didn't know what was about to happen. And when we were canceled, I felt like, oh, okay, that's it for the black shows. I just really felt like they were developing a different network, and I don't recall seeing anything interesting that I was interested in going to that network. And it was just like, oh, well, I guess we're not having UPN anymore. I guess we don't have a network that just has all of our stuff. So where are they going with this? I didn't understand it, but I didn't want to get too deep into it to where it made me feel some type of way. I kind of had to look like, hey, Kyla, count it as a blessing. You did 113 episodes of the show. Okay, what's next? Like, what's but yeah, that's actually the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh, all the black shows are gone. And what are we going to do now? What do we, there's, I can't remember exactly what shows were on the new network, but I knew that none of them I wasn't interested in watching any of them. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, One on One doesn't fit in that. It just doesn't. It wasn't, it didn't have the same, I think they were trying to make it that in the last season, but it just didn't read. And so I was like, I guess you got to go with the flow. I mean, we can't stop the network from being gone. So it is what it is.
And even now, when you're looking back on that last season that kind of gave it a soft reboot, do you look at that season like any differently than the rest of the seasons? Do you think it fits in seamlessly? Or do you think it's kind of like, it was like a one-on-one in like another subtitle under it? Like, I don't know what it could be, but like One on One the Next Days or something like that. Did you think of that season differently?
Yeah, because I think in the beginning, like they tried to make it the One on One, the remix. I don't really look at it differently. It was kind of awkward because the family that I had developed over the past 4 years just was no longer there. We didn't have Billy Sewell. We didn't have Kelly Perrine. We had bits and pieces of Flex. And I know that it had been done on shows before or in some type of way. So I was just trying to go with the flow with it. But the cast that we did bring in were all, sweet people, all talented people. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see how this goes. And it was weird because I was put in an awkward position, not knowing that I was put in an awkward position. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, if they around, we just have to flow with it, And it was, I don't look at it differently. I was like, oh, they tried to reduce it. I don't know. I used to try to sit back and imagine like what would have been like if they would have kept it the same, or if they would have went down the route of still having, my mom, Tashina Arnold, coming in and all these different characters who had been with us the past 4 years. What would that have been like? So I guess I'm saying I don't look at it differently, but I guess I do.
Well, that's kind of like the life cycle of Black sitcoms. I feel like a lot of them go through this phase because, you're going to be hot for those first 2-3 seasons. And then when a point comes where it may slow down a little bit, then people may rethink, okay, how can we liven this up? And I go thinking about how, a lot of them change in tone. Like, I don't think One-on-One necessarily changed in tone. It just kind of changed in setting and cast. But, thinking about how things like Family Matters, how the last seasons got kind of, Urkel went into space and things like that were like a big jump from what people knew the show to be. Just like, this family and how they're, dealing with day-to-day life. And then it got kind of, robots and space. And that's kind of different.
I feel like Family Matters was on a very long time. So I think they got to the point where it was kind of like, let's find some other random things.
Yeah.
Which is still entertaining in some way now. My kids have been watching it. But One-on-One, I don't feel like we were at that point yet. I don't feel like we needed a reboot. I really think that happened because the networks knew that they were going to do some type of switch up. And in my mind, I'm thinking, they were trying to see if they can make this show work in order to get it to go to the new network. And I don't think I don't think we needed anything like to switch up to that capacity. We weren't at that point. We weren't in season 8 where it was like, oh, what can we do now? Let's make something up. I really think that was just basically the networks trying to figure out how they can possibly move this show forward. And it, didn't really work.
Yeah. Yes.
But if it stayed the same, it probably would have been the same outcome because, One-on-One as the show that it was also didn't fit for the new whatever they were trying to do, So either way, I think it would have been done in the 5th season.
I mean, sitcoms in general kind of moved off that network. I mean, I believe that Girlfriends ran for maybe like 1 season on the CW when it became the CW. And then after that, it was like done like this. Because I think they wanted a few shows, some from the WB and some from UPN to kind of hold over. But then that's when it kind of like, reinvented itself. And then we had like Supernatural and things like that. And we spoke to Tyler James Williams last week. And he actually I talked to him about how now they're kind of not necessarily recreating that, but there's like at one point there was a Black Night on the CW because you had All American and you had Black Lightning, and it's just thinking about how that's kind of like a little UPN because almost every show on UPN was with the Black led cast, and now the CW. I mean, it's come a long way, and like I feel like we're slowly getting there to having shows that even have Black leads, that have Black families as leads as those 2 shows do. But I still think about what could be if some of the UPN shows have gotten to last a little bit longer in their current states.
And I think at that time people felt like sitcoms were dying. There was a time where sitcoms weren't, they weren't being greenlit. It was
especially the multicam.
Yeah. It was all about, this new way of shooting things, this new, the people don't think that type of, they're too advanced for that type of funny. They need a different type of funny. We need that dry comedy. We need all these different things. So I think also the industry just went through a time where they were like, oh no, this is dying. And I love the fact of the sitcom, slowly coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, and now so many pilot orders and so many series orders for comedies have been multicam more recent. I think the single cam kind of had its heyday around like maybe I guess like '08 to maybe 14, 15, but now most comedies are multicam, and I have
We can all coexist.
yeah, yeah.
I'm in the single cam world, and I think back then it was just like, no, that's over. We're gonna do this now, and it's like, oh, okay. But I think now they're realizing like, no, you need a mixture of different type of television because no one's the same. Like we all don't just like the same type of thing. Like there's billions of people in the world. Mm-hmm. We don't have to just go to one tune.
And this was something that I did not realize until recently. And then when I realized it, it made sense that you were doing One-on-One and The Proud Family at the same time. I think they premiered the same year. I think one may have lasted like the next year over the other one. But you were booked and busy then. You were voice acting on a major Disney Channel show. And you also had not a series regular role, but the lead role on a sitcom. How did you juggle that as a child actress? And back then, did you think like, oh, I'm working?
No, I didn't think that at all. I was like, oh, I got to do this cartoon, and on this day, and I was in high school, so I was like, oh, I want to go hang out with my friends. Let me get this work done. Let me handle this. I wasn't really. I guess I was multitasking and didn't realize. But yeah, I did both of those at the same time. They actually premiered both in September of 2001, and. Yeah, I think we started shooting we started shooting Proud Family. I think I was in the ninth grade. And then One-on-One got picked up, and I went into homeschool for the remainder of my high school years. But yeah, I just was working. I even now, like I work like crazy, and if I'm not, it's kind of like, wait, what? What's happening? I like to be busy. I don't understand what's happening. But yeah, I was just working. I wasn't really thinking about it like that. I just enjoy what I do. I think when I was doing the cartoon, I think that helped me so much because I didn't like my voice as a kid. And I was like, wait, they hired me for a cartoon? They're gonna fire me because I don't it's not cute. I don't understand. Even now I hear my voice back and I'll be like, that's me? Oh no. I enjoyed working, and I guess that's the best part of it. I wasn't made to feel like I needed to do it or I had to do it or this is what you signed up for. I wasn't, treated like that. I was still treated like a teenage girl that wanted to go to homecoming and wanted to hang out with her friends. And, it felt like an extracurricular activity for me. It didn't feel like a job.
That's how you're in the path you're supposed to be in when you're like, oh, well, it just feels like this is just something I need to be. It's just an activity. It's not a job. I'm not working. It's what I do.
This is something that everybody else is like, I couldn't do after school things. I couldn't do drill team. Like I would try to do like the drill team. After school, they have like all the activities and I used to be like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do this club. And then I'd sign up for the clubs. And then as soon as I have an audition, I'd be like, well, I can't come to the club. I got to go audition. So I end up realizing, auditioning, that's my after school club. That's what I get to do. And it was fun. I love it to this day.
This week's Black Entertainment Trivia question is, which network did Sister Sister initially premiere on? Was it ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox? You can find out the answer next week and on shadowanact.com. So I have to talk about Proud Family coming back to Disney Plus. I'm so excited about it. I've been, revisiting a lot of the show on Disney Plus anyway, since it was made available. What can we expect from the revival of this show? I don't even know what I can even think of when I'm thinking about other iconic Black sitcoms that are animated. Like it's really the mold. It's really the blueprint.
Well, yeah, there are very few, but there are some. I just was very blessed to be a part of something so amazing. I auditioned like everyone else. The character was already drawn up when I became a part of it. And I think I just loved playing her so much because she was real. She was a real teenage girl with a real Black family, with a real dad who was crazy and a mom that was trying to, calm him down. But it taught me so much while I was it. And so to know that people watched it and got the same experience I did while I was shooting it is an amazing feeling. But we've been doing the episodes for the reboot. So we announced the reboot and then the shutdown happened. So now everybody's on my head, like, when is it coming? When is it? I'm like, look, I am not in charge of these things. Why are you guys harassing me? But I've shot some episodes at home. I've gone into now, protected, of course, and redid some things. We have amazing guests coming. It's basically, we have never held back from different conversations. Like Proud Family has been the thing that's like, no, let's talk about the things that people don't talk about. Kids need out, but adults can watch and appreciate and laugh. And it's that same thing, but 2.0. Like it's literally like we have so many different things happening with the new Proud Family that a lot of people, I know they're waiting for it, but it's going to be worth the wait. Like it's the conversations that are going to be had while watching this cartoon. Like they are pushing the envelope. They are discussing everything that needs to be discussed in our world. And I'm just happy that I get to be a part of it. And I get to see, I get to know what's going to, I'm like, ooh, we talking about, ooh, okay. Oh, well, y'all gonna, it's gonna start some conversations, but it's good. It's good. We need to have conversations all the time when people want to shy away from things. And I think that's why things are getting a little easier now because we're able to have conversations that a lot of people shied away from in the past. And I feel like back then, Proud Family was one of the only people that was like, no, we don't talk about this. And so now that everything's being talked about, now Proud Family got to go. Going up there, having the conversations that need to be had. So
I imagine since you're older now, you're more in tune with the things that are going to be talked about on the show. I would think, and okay, we're taking this, and the impact that it's going to have on people who are watching, especially by it being on a platform like Disney Plus too, that skews much younger, that needs to know about these social issues and things like that.
I'm very in tune, especially being a mom. Like I know that I'm watching everything and I'm like, okay, what are my kids learning from this? What are they taking away from this? The different things that they watch. And even recording an episode of the new Proud Family, I'll look at something and be like, oh, so I'm gonna have to have that conversation. Or, but it's better because parents have to realize that you're the one that have to have the conversations with your children. Otherwise, they're going to go have the conversations with their peers who don't know as much as mommy does. You know what I mean? Like I want my kids always to be able to feel comfortable talking to me. And if we're sitting down watching a TV show, that is going to help them open up to asking me different questions. And I'm just glad that they feel comfortable to do so. Then it needs to be done. I'd rather it be done from the Proud Family than from some random news network that makes up stuff. So, I'd rather it be done that way. And even watching one-on-one with my oldest, I didn't realize how much we talked about sex on that show. I was like, this is why everybody, like, I thought it was funny back in the day. Like, oh, you guys are so embarrassed that I got to do this kissing scene. Ha ha ha. Like, I thought it was funny as a teenager that it made people uncomfortable. But then watching it with my daughter, I was like, she gonna ask me questions? And we'll start having conversations about stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize all the stuff that we talked about. But, it started conversations that needed to be had,
Mm-hmm. And, with the recent crop of all the sitcoms that came on Netflix, I'll say with the exception of Sister Sister, in reviewing some of these, I didn't realize how much when I was younger, a lot of this stuff went over my head. Like, I laughed then, but I feel like I didn't really exactly know what it was. Something as simple as, Nikki Parker talking about Alizé on the park is like, I knew that it was like liquor, but like just thinking about how it fit into all of the jokes on the show now and watching it now I'm almost 30 and seeing that it's just a different, you have a different lens in watching that. And I did see that on 101 too. Like it was, I can't think of the episode, but I was like, I did not realize that they were this fast on this show. I didn't realize that.
Had a whole episode about losing your virginity, and I'm like, oh no, what? No, but I feel like even stuff that I watched when I was younger, like I may have watched a movie when I was in my early 20s or in my teenage years that I didn't particularly care for. I've watched again in my 30s and been like, oh, that was so good. You know, it's different. You see different things as you mature and as you grow. And there's a lot of things that it's even sometimes that's why I try not to be super extra strict, like when my kids are concerned, because I'm like, half the stuff that I was rapping about or half the stuff I was watching, I had no idea what I was talking about. Like I had no clue. And it didn't, change me so much to where I went down a bad road because I was rapping that song or I was watching that movie with the girls doing X, like learned from watching different things. I kind of, and even my character Brianna on One that she was going through in her high school, I would have a pullback with the writers because I'd be like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, what do you mean they're making fun of her for being a virgin? Like, so what? Like, and then I'm like, okay, no, Kyla, some people don't think like you. Like, you have to let this play out. This happens in some places. So don't worry about it. Like just let it flow. And, there's different people can take different things, everything that we watch. And it's crazy because I watch things now. No, but Sister did have some too, because my baby was watching Sister the other day. And she started asking me questions. Damn. I thought Sister was the one that they could watch and it'd be all wholesome. And also explaining to my kids that this is entertainment. And it's kind of easier for them, I think, because they see mommy playing different characters and they see mommy doing different things. So now when they watch shows, I'll tell them this is just for entertainment. Look, that's the same actor from this movie. Oh, look, he's playing a different character over here. This is pretend. Like you don't have to watch things and emulate, or imitate anything that's going on here. This is entertainment, that's what I love about entertainment. But it's going to start conversations and it's going to make you think and make you, talk about different things. And the Proud family is going to have y'all talking. Okay.
I can't wait. That's like all the teaser I needed to be like so excited for this to come. And I'm just so glad it's on Disney Plus as well.
Me too.
Speaking of Disney, what are some general Disney Channel fun memories that you have about being on the network? I used to love things like the Disney Channel games and then like the Disney Channel Circle of Stars, when I think the covers with Circle of Life. I can't think of the other song. A Dream Is Here, Wish Your Heart Makes. And those were so fun for me.
Those were fun for me as well because I've never... a lot of people look at me now and there's so many, I get singing like opportunities. And yes, I can hold some notes, I can make something happen, but I don't really look at myself as a singer. I think because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I don't like to half-ass do anything, but to be able to be a part of those things, to me, a lot of the people on those, they're like, oh, they're singers. Like, oh, they want to do albums and they want to do, any singing that I would want to do is going to coincide with acting because that's what I love. But yeah, to be a part of those things and be able to like pretend like I'm in a music video and dance and sing, that I think that was the most amazing part because a lot of us back then didn't get to see each other like that. And on auditions and stuff. So to be able to come together with all the Disney Channel stars and to be able to put things together, I was just like, I get a line or two? Okay, yay.
And I want to switch gears to Call Me Kat because that's your most recent project. What's it been like filming that show? You kind of touched on this earlier, but especially amid the coronavirus pandemic and, sets look so different now. I don't even know when I'll be able to go on a set again as a press person because it may be a little bit far out, but how has that experience been like filming during this historic moment in time that we're in right now?
It's been crazy. Luckily, I'm a part of a show like Call Me Cat, where there's such good energy and so many great people that love to work and they love what they do. Because all the protocols are a little overwhelming at times, especially being an actress and trying to develop a character. And it's like, wait, so I have to rehearse with masks on and a shield on, and I can't even like stand next to my co-star, like this person who I'm supposed to be so close with and work with. Like I can only be by them when we're shooting. Like this is crazy, but it's been an amazing experience because of the people who I get to do it with. And I've been a part of this show for so long, since, before a script was even written. And we were going to shoot the pilot, and then that's when everything got shut down, and it kind of stressful. I was frustrated because I'm like, I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to do this thing. Like I've been so excited. And luckily we were able to get things, the studios were able to come back, and we were able to shoot in an environment that is still safe for us and for our crew. And luckily we've been very fortunate, fingers crossed, for everybody to still be in a great place health-wise to be able to make this happen, because it's crazy. And to be shooting and airing at the same time, because we're still shooting right now and we're airing and it's like, okay, well, we have to maintain these protocols. We have to get tested every day. If we have any type of physical touch, now we have to get tested 2 to 3 times a day. Like it's nuts. But I'm excited, looking forward to when we don't have to do all that anymore. Yeah. But I'm gonna do it because I love what I do, and I'm happy to be a part of a project like this that brings laughter and some great energy during a time right now.
Yeah, because that's something that we need right now. So it's good to have and it's such a traditional comedy too, in a sense. And it's just good to have those laughs that you may necessarily not get.
It's great because it's traditional, but we have so many different people from so many different backgrounds. And it's like, no matter who you are watching this show, you'll be able to relate in some. And I'm glad that people are giving it a chance, because in the beginning, they're like, wait, what is this? Kind of funny, like what's going on? And like, no, like grow with us, watch with us, allow us to show you all that we have going on with these characters. And Mayim Bialik is like amazing, and literally every person on our cast I have never worked with before, and we felt like such a family from the beginning. And I just hope I get to continue to work with these people.
Yeah, definitely an eclectic class that seems to work well together. But it's everyone's so different, but all y'all together is just it meshes so well. So I hope more people check out Call Me, because it's so good. It's so good.
Thank you. Yes, they can check it on Thursdays on Fox or on Hulu or the Fox TV app, and binge it if you haven't been watching it. I guarantee you. There's been episodes where I have laughed out loud. Get to see when they're shooting a scene that I'm not in, I don't get to see that because I'm not on set because of all the protocols. And so when I see something and I'm like, I've laughed out loud. Like I've enjoyed it so much. My family's enjoying it. And like I said, different people from different walks of life will be able to enjoy this comedy. And I hope that, it puts a smile on everyone's face.
And of course we have the Proud family coming back. Would there be any other show, film in your career that you would be interested in revisiting or bringing back at some point?
Oh goodness, it's difficult for me because I don't like going backwards. I say, look, if you go back, it's got to be good. It's got to be good. It has to be amazing. I'm not sure. For me, revisiting something, I don't know. I've been a part of so many amazing things. The first to my mind, of course, is One-on-One, because I know a lot of people would love to see that. For me, it would have to be dope for me to have to be, Brianna Barnes again. But I don't know, and a lot of things I feel like that I was a part of are classic. Like I thought of Love and Basketball, could we do something with that? But I'm like, no, you don't touch a classic. You just let it be. You just leave it alone. I don't know. That is a really good question. But not really. No, I think everything that I've done, I think it is what it is. Enjoyed it, and I love watching it back. And, if the right thing comes along, then hey, I'm with it. But no. not really.
You know something I love are those Dr. Dolittle movies with Eddie Murphy and Raven Simone and you. And I know there were a few other ones, direct to TV or direct to DVD at the point.
Video back then.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Now we would call it direct to streaming or direct to on demand. But I used to wear that VHS out, especially the second one.
Yeah.
I think those movies are underrated. I think those are underrated for real.
Yeah, I love doing all the Dr. Dolittles. I did the first 2 with Eddie and the rest of the cast, and then the next 3 I became the doctor, and we went direct to VHS or DVD or whatever. Like, see, and that's the problem. I'll be like, yeah, I'm not 14, but then we start talking about VHSs, you're like, oh damn, now that those damn. But no, those were amazing experiences as well, and yeah, I've been blessed to work with some amazing people, and I'm happy I got to watch them and learn from them, and able to use that in my future.
Yes. And to wrap things up, you have worked with so many legendary people in your career so far. What is a piece of advice that you remember getting from, whether it was a co-star or just someone that you've worked with in any type of other capacity, the best piece of advice that you've gotten during your career and has stuck with you to this day?
I can't remember any like straight up advice offhand where somebody was like, hey, listen to me, do this, don't do that. I'm not really good at listening when people do that anyway, because I'm like, don't tell me what to do. So even if people did it, I don't remember. But I think just being able to watch people. I watch and I learn from those around me. Either I see things that I love and I would love to learn how to be like or to focus in that way, or I see things where I'm like, oh, don't like that. I'm not gonna do that. Don't like it. So I just like to keep my eyes open and learn from the different people I've been blessed and fortunate enough to work with, and just because I don't really listen to what people say. I watch them in action. So yeah, I take little things from everybody I worked with, and it carries with me, and it helps me through different things that I get to experience on set. So.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. I think we were able to go down memory lane a good bit, talking about One-on-One, The Proud Family, both of which people are tuning into. Now you have people who are watching both One-on-One on Netflix, Proud Family on Disney Plus, and wildly anticipating the Proud Family Louder and Prouder on Disney Plus as well. So thank you so much for talking with me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me, and look out for all that.
Yes. Kyla Pratt took us through her Hollywood story, from being a guest star to a series regular and lead, and she spoke about her longevity in the industry and the advice she has learned over time. Thank you for listening to Opening Act with Kyla Pratt. You can watch this interview in full and catch exclusive content on lunchtable.com. Create an account and watch other Shadow and Act programming such as Shadow and Act Live and Reel It Back. Until next time.